All right, let's get started. Welcome to the Pacer Cadence webinar. So today I'm joined by Rich, and we are going to be going over some new fun things with a surprise at the end. A little something we've been working on that we want to share with you. As a reminder, I haven't met any of you. I'm sure I have, but I've been here since October, so this is my third Pacer Cadence webinar. My name is Connor Francis. I'm a customer success specialist with Pacer, and I'm joined by Rich Mashenik, our founder and CEO. Before the surprise at the end, we're going to get started today on talking about some new updates that are coming to the app. Our dev team has been working tirelessly on a V6 update, is what we call it. I think we've counted up the hours roughly, about 1,500 hours of work on a lot of back-end development and some new front-end changes to our app. Maybe not things that'll affect your day-to-day, but definitely some things that are going to impact process improvement. So we'll go over those today. And while we're looking at them, we've had some people report some bugs on some things that they were doing some interesting work in different corners of the app that people may not have realized are there. So I thought it'd be a good time to bring up these actions you can do, these features within the app. We've got just a refresher on editing and adding tasks to your baseline, reordering things, and then some of our new features, which we're going to get started with. We have an update to our baseline import tool, a new bulk update feature, and then just basically manipulating baselines. So we'll get started with that. So
Connor, before you do, just want to let everybody know that we will keep an eye on chat if you want to go to chat in there. And then I think you also added Q&A.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Yeah, across the top, you should see a button for Q&A. Oh, it's not there?
I don't see it.
It's okay. It's okay. You can type your questions into the chat. Yeah. Yeah. We didn't get pinged for that last night either, so that's okay. It makes a noise when you put the chat in. So Rich will be monitoring the chat. So if you have anything along the way, feel free to type it in and we'll answer that as we go. Will also be time for Q&A at the end. Great. So we got the baseline import tool we're starting with. So if you notice on the screenshot here, very familiar, our usual baseline import tool, but our lovely arrow here is pointing to our new column O for tags. So everyone knows that you can add a tag to a task, and if you didn't, welcome. You can add tags to tasks. You can do that in two ways. There's a baseline tag or a task tag, which we'll get to shortly, but tags are great. Tags are ways that you can add it to a task so that you can search and look at your list of tasks in a different way. We all know our dashboard page, which looks at one location at a time. You can scroll down to a section called Task Completed By, which we'll jump into the app in just a few minutes and show this to you in real time. But you can add a tag to a task so that you can view different workflows all together in a stream. We'll dive into this. But our baseline import tool allows you to add one tag at a time. So if you can see, in the photo here, we've added the tag risk. You can add more than one tag to a task. However, our import tool allows you to just do one at the import. And if you needed to add more, you can jump into the app and go ahead and add them through your baseline. The most important thing to do is to, if you're considering doing this with your baseline you have already, consider meeting with a few key stakeholders who are using it as admins, using Pacer as admins. Consider what you might want to add in as tags to your subscription. Add them into your settings, your configurations, and then when you download an import tool, when we push V6, this is going to be the new version coming shortly. When you download the import tool, you'll now see this column O labeled tags. When you download that, it'll be a drop-down menu in the cell, similar to how responsible job title and department are. When you click the drop-down, you'll see all of the tags you've recently added into your configurations, and you'll be able to select from there. Then we just made a mention quickly about baseline tags versus task tags. So let's talk about that. We can see here on the screen an image of a task drawer, just the top half. And on the right-hand side, we have our tags. Brand standard is floating above our tag dropdown. The reason why is because brand standard is a baseline tag. That means that at the admin level, clicking on baselines and choosing a baseline, you've went ahead and opened a task and added a tag at the baseline level. When you distribute this baseline through your project or attaching this baseline directly to your location, you'll see that the user will not be able to manipulate this. And I'm looking at this task at the location level. So as a user, I see brand standard won't go away. You at corporate or as an admin may want to closely monitor specific tasks and make sure that those tags don't go away. However, there is an option here that a user can also add their own tags. In this dropdown here, if I click this as a user, I'd have access to all of the tags that you've created in your configuration. Users can add and remove at the location level. Just another way for them to also filter through their tasks. Cool. And we'll go ahead and jump into Pacer and let's show you that in real time. All right, so I've got my company overview page. This is my testing subscription, so none of the data here is real or live. I'm clicking into admin, and let's show you where the tags live. So if we scroll down, you'll notice that my screen may look a little different than yours. We're in this version of Pacer that will be released shortly, which is we call, again, version 6. Most of the changes, as I said, are on the back end. Some minor changes on the front end, just like this admin menu. So don't be surprised if you see a little bit more detail here on our menu. I'll scroll down to task config. Since this is a task tag, these configurations are going to live at the task level. At the bottom of our menu, I have task tags. So here I have a few examples showing different clients some different ways you can use this. There's numerical values, risk and priority, brand standards. So these are all the tags that I've added. You can see that they're all different colors. You can customize that. If I click add new, I can type in a new tag. So let's say this is, this is a security. This has to do with security, so it's super important. We want to shed those on a different light, and I can actually customize the colors. So great, that one looks good. I'll save that. Now I've got that tag in my subscription. I'll navigate to the baseline now, and I'll choose a baseline from my list. We'll do a new build for all location sample. And I'm going to go ahead and click on one of our tasks. So I've got approve marketing plan here. To access the tags, I'm going to click on show more. And here we've got a tag here. So we've got brand standard. I'm going to change this. I'm going to call this one a priority. Okay. And once I apply this change, that'll be live for any location that's currently working on this baseline. So now we'll navigate to the location level. So I'll go to a location in my subscription that's currently working on this baseline. So I have Napa Valley here working on full service opening.
I didn't happen to know Connor's a big wine guy. Napa Valley.
So I've got my approved marketing plan here, and I actually customize my columns. So if you're a heavy tag user after this call, maybe you start to explore it a lot and it's become a lifeline for you. You can turn on the tag column on your view, and now I can see them quickly here. I can open up approved marketing plan, and you can see that I've added the priority tag at the baseline level. So as a user or as someone accessing the location level, I can't manipulate this tag. You've added it at the admin level as a if corporate's rolling this out, you definitely don't want that to get manipulated. However, like I mentioned before, I can still click this drop down and choose any of the tags I had available in the configurations. I pointed out earlier that I used numbers as an example previously. We have everything available except for priority because that's already attached. As a user, I can add a few different tasks as well. So I can add a whole bunch and I can click save. Great.
And just for anybody that's noticed, the brand standard tag will show up. It's just an issue in beta right now that it's not showing it, but it will normally show. And it shows today. It's just Connor's environment doesn't like it.
Yeah. I was just so excited to show you what's coming. So, right. Great. So that's tags. We'll move on to the next feature that we're excited to roll out to you. It's a baseline task search. So basically, and again, we'll go through this in the app. This one's a lot to digest. When you're in the app and you navigate to admin baselines, you'll see the option for task search, which is available now. You can search for different tasks. You can click on them and manipulate that one specific task. When you click that search bar, it opens up. You can search by task name, which is very common. There are a few other options here as well. But you'll notice now we have an update attributes button that's available to you. So once you search for your specific task, I chose the example marketing action plan, which we'll go through. And I have the marketing action plan task repeated across different baselines. So if I needed to edit this, let's say, we hired a marketing coordinator that's going to take over this task, and we needed to change that person across all baselines, no matter where this task sits, it's now going to be the marketing coordinator's job to do. I can update them all at once. You can do many different updates though. You can change the name, you can change the description. So we'll go ahead and jump into the app and do that now. Great. So I'll navigate to admin. I'll choose my baselines and I'll click on my task search button up here in the top right corner. I'll search for marketing action plan. And here they are. So just like any other page with a table in Pacer, to manipulate the data, I'll need to click on the checkboxes. And as I click on these checkboxes here on the left-hand side, you'll notice that my update attributes button has now appeared. So here's our new drawer for update attributes. You'll notice that all of my tasks have the same name, but if they were slightly different from each other and I wanted to make them a little bit more uniform, I can change the name of all three all at once. So if I click populate task name, it's going to give me the option to choose the name of one of the three tasks that I have checked off. I'll choose develop marketing action plan. Maybe I'm going to edit this task and I'm going to add some info in here, ensure to get this approved from director of marketing. And everything else I'm okay with. And I can click on say update. And like I mentioned before, that's not the only spot that we can edit this. I can actually also just click on the actual task and you'll see now that the additional info that I just added appears. I can also change it at this specific baseline. I just clicked on the restaurant rebranding and reopening baselines task. And as a reminder, if you're in a current baseline and you're just looking at this one task and you're about to make a change, at the top of the drawer, it will say there are 2 additional active baselines with this same name. Having that information is great. Because I know that to be true, I can take the name of this task to my baseline task search, as we just showed you, and make that change for the other 2 that are repeated across other baselines. Awesome. All right.
Great. Connor, give us 1 second. So with this new feature, we will be able to update days and weeks out, links, and documents. Or will we be able to update days, weeks out, links, and documents? Can you share the screenshot again? Go back to
Yeah.
screen.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I can go live
Oh,
into the app.
okay. Whichever.
Yeah. So if I choose all three of these and update the attributes,
Yeah, so currently links is not an option to update across all of them, nor is days, weeks out, since traditionally, well, I don't know if traditionally is the right word, but most common we see if the same task is on 3 different baselines, that they're on 3 different dates already. And we're not likely to be joined all to be on the same date. So we didn't immediately add that to this page. If that's something that's comes up a lot for you all, feel free to give us a shout.
yeah. Yeah, definitely. We love the feedback.
But, and I should say, like, you can still click cancel here and update all 3 of them from the same page. So if you need to change the weeks out on each of them, click cancel here. You don't do it in the
Right.
bulk way, but they can click on each one and update the weeks out for the applicable one.
Right.
That's a pretty quick change, luckily. Well, I guess it depends on the baselines you have.
Yeah. If you repeat this task 100 times, it'd be a lot, but there is still a way to do it. I mean, it is great to not have to be able to go in to admin and go into baseline and find that task and then back out and go into a different baseline and find that task. This makes it easy to just get them all on one page. Thankfully, our example is only 3.
Thanks, Connor.
Yeah, of course. All right. So we'll move on. We'll go to copying baselines. So this is a feature that exists already in the app. So when you go to your baselines, as you can see in the screenshot, admin baselines, you have your actions button all the way on the right. The actions menu appears in a few different spots within our app. If you didn't already know, you can click on those 3 dots and a little menu will appear. And when you're in the baselines and you're clicking there, you'll have the option to copy your baseline. There's a bunch of different ways to edit what you have. And if you haven't already seen, our last Pacer Cadence webinar went through editing baselines, like great reports to run to take a look at your baselines. We did, actually, it was 2 cadences ago, we did like a spring cleaning. But what we didn't really go through was that instead of extracting out and your baseline and working on it on Excel and then putting it back into the app, you can actually just say, hey, you know what? This baseline is a great starting point. I want to expand on it. You can just make a copy of it and then start to manipulate the data on the screen right in Pacer. That way you don't have to use an Excel sheet. And in that baseline, you can do different things. You can make edits, and even if the baseline is live at a current property, let's say you have 50 locations working on something, and you've realized you've mistyped something, or you didn't give clear enough direction in the task name. You're getting a lot of support tickets about it. People are confused on what this task means. And you're understanding, maybe it needs to be rewritten. When you go into your baseline and you click on the task, and you can retype the task name or add in additional info or any change for that matter. Once you click on apply changes, that will go live to anyone working on it. You can also add in more tasks, but adding in more tasks requires an additional step or 2 that we'd love to show you to remind you in the app today. You also may consider importing more. If you have a baseline with tasks and you've imported them, when you click the import button again, it'll add more tasks to that list. So for example, if I imported a task list with an import tool with 50 tasks, and I imported that same import tool again, I would have a double of all of my tasks. I would have 100. I would have 2 of each. It doesn't find and replace anything that's in there. It'll automatically add them to your list. The other thing you might consider when taking a look at your baseline is if you have tasks that are going to have the same target date, you may have set up the days out to all occur on the same week or same week plus day. You may consider that, although they all fall on the same day, I want them to look at this task first. So we'll go through this in the app together, but you can click on the checkboxes of all the tasks that have the same target date, and you can actually reorder them in the way they appear on your team's task list. The only way you can reorder, though, if I haven't stressed it enough, is if they're due on the same day. So we'll go ahead and show you that in the app live. Great. So I'll go to admin. I'll go to my baseline, and I'm going to take a look at new build all location sample again. And I'm going to go ahead and start with our first task. I'm going to make a change to this task first, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it trickles down to those that are working on it. So I have approved marketing plan. I'm going to make a change. You know what? This is going to be actually for Q1. And I'll save that. Once I click apply changes, these words that I just added for Q1 will automatically appear for all those that are working on that task. I'll add a new task, that's what we talked about, and show you those additional steps. It's not as easy as just clicking apply and it's live. To add a task, maybe we forgot something. We'll click on add baseline task, and I'll add something new. And let's say we'll order sales. I don't want to use the word brochures. I know I'll spell that wrong. One sheets. One sheet has a lot of information to pass to your customers.
I was going to say just collateral, but I'd probably spell that wrong too.
One of those words. Somebody asked the other day, "What's a word you'll always spell wrong for the rest of your life?" And I guess I'll have to add brochure to my list once I'm on the spot here. I'll go ahead and assign this to our sales leader in a sales department. And this is going to be a property level task or a team level task. And so that I can easily make it appear at the top of my list, I'll have this due 70 weeks out. And I'll go ahead and click save. So it appears on my baseline. I can see it. I've just added it. But I've already pushed this baseline to a location or several locations, and I need this to appear now. So I've pushed down the baseline, but I haven't pushed down this task since it's new. To manipulate the data on the screen, I'll tick off the box here on the left-hand side next to my new task. And you can see that our menu has changed in the top right, and I have this bulk push down button. So I'll go ahead and click that. And I know that this baseline is related to the project full service opening. So I'll choose a project, and I can see in this box here, it's letting me know that these are the locations that are currently working on that project, which includes this baseline. Once I click push down, this task will now appear at all 5 of these locations. So I'll go ahead and do that. And before we go into reorder our task, I want to show you how suddenly now, if I go to Napa Valley, we now have our new task here, order sales sheets. And one important thing to remember is since this task has now been freshly added, it has not been assigned yet. So we'll need to make sure that that also gets assigned. And our task that already lived here, approved marketing plan, now has for Q1 added, as I've added previously in the demonstration. Great. I had
Do you
this
want to
question.
explain why it's a two-step? Good. Do you want to explain why it's a two-step process to add a new task to a baseline
Yeah, yeah.
versus
So
editing?
yeah, definitely. So when I went to the project, when I created this baseline at first, and I started my project full service opening, when I did the push down, at that time, I pushed down everything currently in that baseline, and it went through. Since I've added tasks, they weren't part of that push down, but you also might consider that, you may have realized in your throughout your workshopping and operating that this task might be something that you want uh, future properties to do or future locations or teams to do when they get this baseline next time. They don't necessarily need to start to do it right now. You may have workshopped and realized you wanted to add a few tasks. And if you do add, so if I added this order sales one sheet and I did not push down that one single task, that's okay. Because the next time I push this entire baseline to a location, those tasks will now be added. So, why I did what I did is because I wanted this to immediately go out. If I didn't check off this box and do a bulk push down, it would just go to the next location that I push this entire baseline to. You might know a more specific example, but that's basically the pacer understanding of how and why those things happen, why I needed to do those steps. Rich, do you have more of like a real life example? I couldn't think of anything off the top of my head.
No, I think that's a good example. Like you've got a task that you want to add to the baseline, but you don't necessarily need to push it down to all the properties that are currently working on their to-do list.
Yeah,
And you only want that task to be applicable to the upcoming locations, and that's totally
and
fine.
that's like
You could
a
be phasing
great
out a task. You could have one task that's already existing in the baseline that you want to inactivate, and then create a new task that's going to be applicable to the new ones, to the new
yeah.
locations only.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. And like, that this is like a great example of like an advantage you have using Pacer over like Excel. The way that you can, or other competitors, like the way that you can manipulate and massage the baseline while people are still continuing to work on it. You can make live edits. You can save those edits for later. It's a lot more powerful than I think people understand. I think when you first learn Pacer, you're comfortable with creating a baseline, importing your tasks, and sending it. I think people are very shy when it comes to trying to make these changes on the fly in your baseline and worried to not ruin anything. But that's the whole point of the call. And that's why I'm touching on it again, even though two calls ago we talked a little bit about it. You should feel comfortable to be able to do this because this is a great feature that we offer to you that you may not get with other competitors or previous software systems you've used, or even with Excel, if that's where you're coming from. So yeah, Rich also just made a good point. While we're here, I might as well show it. I think we're doing pretty well on time. Rich mentioned that you may want to retire a task. So if I created this task as a new one and I wanted to phase out this, I can click on the checkbox here, and you'll see at the bottom of the screen, this is where I can mark this task as inactive. If I did that, an additional option comes up, and it's asking me to make this visible in location task list. What that means is I'm going to inactivate this task, but do I want to keep it on everyone's task list who's currently working on it? So anyone who has this baseline, do you still want them to complete this task if they haven't already? And I can keep that on there. And the next time I push this baseline, it simply will not include this task because it's no longer active. Right. Head back into our presentation. Oops. Oh, awesome. So the next thing we'll talk about is our user import tool. So this is a little bit of an update. So we just talked about some things you can do in the app today. You can do a user import tool today also. Uh, we've made some, we've made one small change, which you may find if you're commonly importing users. You actually can go ahead and go to your admin page and click on users, and you'll see that when you click on import users today in the app, you'll need to click a button to contact us for an import tool. We'll just get all the current data from your subscription, make sure it's all appropriate and correct. We send it to you, and you'll be able to do the import. So what's coming soon, shortly, is when you click on that button, you'll actually get a download just like you would for a baseline import tool. You'll be able to download your own user import tool, fill it out, and import that right into the app, and it will give you the same errors you're familiar with when you do your baseline import tool. Obviously, these ones are more specific to user import tool. One common one is you may already have a user that already has that username. Yeah, great. Super curious to know how everyone on the call is importing users. So I'm going to go ahead and launch a survey quickly, give you some time to fill that out. You may find that you're using the import tool pretty heavily in the beginning of your subscription. You're adding a whole bunch of people at once. You may add them one by one today, and that's okay. But we're just curious to know what's the most common way that you are adding users the most. If you're unsure, that's fine too. Awesome. While we're on it, I have another poll. Love these polls. uh, Curious to know about the tags as well. So I'm going to launch that one. We're talking about tags on this call. We added that feature into the baseline import tool. But customers reach out to us and they bring some things to our attention. They may be using tags heavily in their subscription while others may not. And we've learned so much from our customers on how they're using Pacer. So a feature worth adding is a feature worth asking, how many other people on the call today are using tags. And this is anonymous, so feel free. If you're not using it, don't be shy. It's okay. You should, though. And I hope you felt inspired after this call to take a look. Awesome. Great. Earlier, I logged in. I was using our beta version of Pacer. So you saw our admin menu before, but not so that you're not super shocked by the new look. Just wanted to make sure that you were aware that this is a change that's coming. It's okay if we have customers that they push a project and they're happy with their baseline and they're comfortable and they continue to open up their project, add locations, and push that baseline. But there are some people that may, add projects few and far between, and it's okay to forget. And, that's what my job here is. You can always reach out to me for assistance or our support desk. But so that we made it a little bit easier to meet you in the middle, we've added some verbiage to our admin page so that it's a helpful reminder of what exactly you can do when you're clicking into each of these pages. Awesome. Before we move on, we're actually going to go over to our special surprise at the end of the call. I forgot to send this last other uh, poll out. Curious to know. I know I'm really piling them up. I was just so jazzed about showing everyone that I forgot about my polls. As if I don't have enough screens here to manage everything. The task search. It's a huge feature for us. We're super excited about it. I know that there is someone on the call right now that also really loves it. But curious to know how helpful you might find searching for tasks across baselines.
Or editing them in bulk, maybe is a.
Yeah, editing them in bulk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Astounding response. Love
Wow,
to see that.
4.8.
Yeah. Yeah.
Had no idea it was gonna be such a big deal. So
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
that's why we love it
glad
when
we've added
people
it.
give us feedback.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Sounds like we've added the right feature. All right.
Do you have
Now
another
on
poll, Connor, or do you run her like
yeah, actually, coming your way. No. All right. So if you could just do this survey now. So I'm excited for the last section, which I didn't add to the agenda. Rich and I decided that it would be a good time to show you. We've been working pretty hard with some partners on designing what could be, it's just a draft, what could be the look of our next task page in Pacer. So everyone on the call today, your admins, you've been invited since you have the admin role in the app. And we know that you're super users. I mean, you wouldn't be here if you weren't as dedicated to Pacer as we are. And you're so interested to hear more and see what's coming. We're super excited to have you. And we'd love to show you off this prototype draft version of what the task page could look like. However, we also understand that there are people that are location level. So they're users having access to one or a few locations that are actually the people that are going in and completing tasks day in, day out. You as admins are creating baselines and pushing them, but the people we want to hear from are people that are actually completing those tasks that you distribute. We want to know from those users their feedback on this task page. You know, good, the bad, and the ugly. Do you like this look better? Is it more current? It's refreshing. That's great. But usability, like, is this clear? Is this, are there things that you don't see from the app today that you wish still existed here? And it takes some time to digest. But what Rich and I are looking for is sort of like a focus group. We are relying on you as admins to connect us to some users at the location level who can help give us feedback in sort of like a focus group. Obviously, it would be great to get people who are very active. You may know people off the back of your head that are like super users that are always in there all the time. Maybe they're doing a current opening or just completed an opening and they've just used Pacer heavily or just completed a major initiative that you've rolled out across your company. So finally, Rich's favorite time, going to launch another survey. This one's not anonymous. We're looking to ask you, how many people do you think that you can connect us with so that we can create a focus group? You know your team best, and you would know who are those best people to put us in touch with. You can send myself an email and just CC the group or people or individuals. Preferably, if you can put them all on one email, that'd be great. We'd love to invite them and give them some time to look at this, digest it, and provide feedback. Awesome. Great. Close up that poll in just a minute. But yeah, I mean, besides hearing from the users, I mean, I think this is such a refreshing look. If you're taking a look here, you see that on this particular snapshot, the user that's logged in as a fake setup has 5 locations selected. This table scrolls left and right. We still have all of our features that you would see in our other app, in our other view. We have table, calendar, Gantt chart, the search functions, our filters, adding a task, and of course, bulk actions. So yeah, pretty exciting.
Connor, we got to ask a couple questions, so if
Yeah.
I can jump in while you're waiting for people to finish the poll,
Yeah.
or maybe there's just one question here. So yeah, what's the release date for the task search functionality, the tag add-on for the baseline import tool, and some of the new stuff that's coming out? So our current release plan is Thursday night Eastern, US Eastern time. So tomorrow night is our current release date. So if anything goes wrong with that, then we would push into next week. But at this point, we are aiming for tomorrow night. Next
Yes.
question was, will there be release notes that we can share out these changes? Yes, we've actually already typed them up, and they're sitting in an email waiting to be sent as soon as the deployment goes through.
Yeah. Yeah, we're super excited, super proud of our dev team. It's been a journey. Awesome. So we got another one.
And then, yeah, go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, go ahead. So we got another one to provide you feedback on the new task page. Do you just want us to send you contacts from property users? Yeah, if you could send me an email and just CC the individuals and let them know that Pacer is looking for a focus group to provide feedback on our task page prototype. Just make the introduction to myself and I'll take it from there, and we'll set up some time that works best, and we'll give them some time to digest the look. We'll give them the image ahead of time, and then hopefully they'll bring their feedback to that meeting.
So we're asking, is it hotel users only? For the most part, yes. But if you have corporate level users that are actively completing tasks on a regular basis, then the corporate level people will be welcome as well. But we're looking for people that are truly in there checking tasks off on a daily, weekly basis, more so than administrators. So kind of depends on the company and who's on the call right now. So some of that has corporate people, some of it doesn't. So
Awesome. And of course,
you
if you
got
have
Q&A, so I guess you're open to other questions.
yeah, I'm open to anything. And of course, on the call, if there's nothing you want to type in publicly, feel free to send myself an email. I'd be happy to answer anything from today's call or any questions. Definitely here to support. Feel free to keep typing in. I'm just going to change the slide here. I just want to let you know, if you want to mark your calendars, we're looking to host the next Pacer Cadence webinar on October 18th. That'll be 9 a.m. for US Eastern, and of course we'll host two for us on our side, so it'll be for all time zones, applicable for all time zones, to make some time to meet with us. If there's anything you also want us to cover, open to suggestions also. If there's something you want to learn more about or something you might not use in the app, and it doesn't have to be something you understand today, next week or so. If you're in the app and you're thinking about, hey, you know what, I wish this was part of a Pacer Cadence webinar, feel free to type in a suggestion. We'd be happy to do a thorough deep dive.
Yeah, great point, Connor. And we'll send out a link with the recording of this call along with the links for registration for October 18th in the same email.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, great. That's great. Great seeing everyone again. Thanks so much for joining. We'll have the links out, and you can share with anyone that didn't get to make the call that has admin level access that would be interested in viewing what we viewed today. And we're excited to see you next time.
Well, thanks everyone for joining. Great to see everybody. Have a great day.
Bye, everyone.
Okay, bye.